Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, we will be deleting my city. One part at a time and replacing it with something better. Last time, we focused on the beachfront of Mini City. But this time, we are turning our attention to the modern suburbs. This will be the longest and largest transformation that Mini City has ever foregone. Let's get started. How do I look? Does this helmet make me look fat? Step 1, we have to move everything out of the modern suburbs. And what even qualifies as the modern suburbs, you may be asking? This area right here. The modern suburbs is sandwiched behind the train tracks, the new suburban suburbs, and the rural area of Mini City over the bridge. It's basically the entire area that we have just removed everything from. That's an even better visual representation. That's looking better already. We now have a clean slate that we can build on. Whilst not a requirement, I am trying to fill the modern suburbs in with as many modern builds as possible. The first of which is the modern art gallery. This has, or had, every single painting that existed in Minecraft inside of that build, displayed tastefully. Many people call it a better version of the Louvre. After that, I decided to add some family favourites. We have a modern Starbucks and the modern McDonald's. I'm placing them on the outskirts of the modern suburbs so that we can easily connect them into the regular suburbs at some point in the future. I'm already thinking ahead. After I made some roads in between all of these builds, I thought that it might be a cool idea to add my nightclub here and my modern bar. I need somewhere that I can get my groove on. I also added the McDonald's billboard behind McDonald's and I'm loving it. I also like the idea of having my modern multi-story car park in between all of these builds as well. Just think about all of that amazing parking. I love parking! That was weirdly intense. I'm having too much fun recording this. For some reason, I decided that the TV studio would also look really good here, and in conjunction, the radio tower. Which probably makes sense. Just don't think too hard about it. Diverting our attention to the opposite side of the street, we have a modern Subway, Apple Store. Right next to it, the Samsung store, which I'm not sure is a great idea. There's going to be some gang warfare breaking out in the streets of Mini City. Next to that, the Ogle store. And on the end of this row, an ice cream shop. Because who doesn't love ice cream? With the amazing power of ADD. Once again, bouncing back to the opposite side of the street, I decided that the fire station would look good here. It just needed a little bit of a reskin. There's also this massive dead zone in front of the TV studio, which is perfect for not only a food truck, which we will add a seating area to later, but I think an entrance into the subway train station, not the food store, would work perfectly here. We'll be doing more with that later. Whilst I was streaming earlier this week, I had a wonderful suggestion to add Moe's Tavern into this empty space right here, which I wouldn't have thought of myself. This is a build from the old Stream City, which I haven't visited in a very long time. Which might be a mistake because there are some very cool builds in here that would now fit nicely into the city. It's at this point that I realised that we have a massive amount of the modern suburbs left to renovate. You can see that I have dumped a bunch of builds in this area in the hopes of striking a little bit of inspiration. Which didn't work exactly because I promptly got rid of all of them. However, I did come up with a cool idea. What if we combine Playground 2, the dog park, the outdoor basketball court, and the football pitch / soccer field in a Megazord-like fashion to create a really cool park that can then be overseen by this set of modern apartments. What a wonderful place to live. This gave me an even better idea. What if we create a mountainous area that we can place our modern mansion on top of? With the modern mansion safely perched upon its mountaintop, we were then able to make further improvements to our suburbs, like making the park more parky, getting rid of this massive modern office building, further extending our modern mountainous mountain. I have a pretty good plan for this area later. And most importantly, joining the brand new parts of the suburbs together. And we also added a bicycle shop, car dealership, and of course, Optimus Prime to the suburbs.
Autobots, subscribe.
That was my Optimus Prime impression. I know. It's pretty impressive. Honestly, I'm insanely happy with how this is all coming together. This looks amazing. However, just like my waistline after a trip to McDonald's, it's now time to expand. Which is mildly annoying because I placed all of the previous builds over in this direction and we need to get rid of all of them. Well, not quite, some can stay. The idea for this part of the suburbs is to create a bit more of a small town feel. So I started off by gathering my gym, daycare, vet office, dentist office, candy store, modern dominoes, and my leisure centre together to create a high street / cluster of shops. In conjunction with these, we have my convenience store and car mechanic. I was then going to make the opposite side of the high street starting with this music studio, but nah. So instead, I decided to add some more modern apartment buildings on the back of all of these. And how are we meant to furnish these apartments? Well, with the furniture store, of course. And how will we get the energy to shop for furniture? Well, with the modern Costa Coffee featuring drive-thru, of course. And what about when we throw our back out carrying a brand new set of drawers up 3 flights of stairs? We'll turn that pain into passion in the modern music studio. It's at this point that things got a little bit crazy. I decided to add my modern train station into the modern suburbs. It makes sense, it's in the name. Not only that, we have the taxi rank here as well, and for some reason a floating McDonald's advertisement. I'm loving it. I'm starting to think that there's some grand conspiracy to get me to eat more Big Macs. Now, this started off all fine and well, but then I recalled a comment that I read on a video recently. You made really cool city building, the only problem is, it's too flat. And honestly, that hurt, but we'll show them. I decided that we will take the portion of the city that we have just made and we will build it on top of a mountain. Honestly, this is really tricky because now that we have elevated this part of the city, we have to connect it down into the lower part of the city, which means making weird shaped roads. I also have to connect the train stations together somehow. I don't even know how that's going to work. And I have to build terrain around all of this so we don't just have some weird floating platform in our city. I was starting to regret my decision. So instead of doing the difficult thing, I decided to run off to a different part of the city. We have a set of houses here which I actually really liked, but I don't think that they really belong in this part of the city anymore. It's much more of a downtown area, and just having some random modern suburban houses didn't really make sense. But McDonald's and Starbucks do make sense.
But don't you have them over there in the other part of the city?
No, they've moved. And so did the sign, because I really like that level of detail. Which left us with some empty space, but not for long. We have the modern bank and a modern office building to go there instead. This, in my opinion, fits the vibe of downtown so much better. I did move those modern houses across opposite the park, however they didn't stay there long because I actually decided the modern suburban houses would actually be a bit of a better fit here. I don't know why I started thinking about this random corner of the city, but I added a modern Dunkin' Donuts here, and I couldn't help myself. The modern police station right next to it. I mean, is there a better match made in heaven? I then, for some reason, ended up over here, and I thought that it'd be cool to combine the funeral home, doctor's office, it just kind of made sense, and the church/graveyard builds all together. So I did in this nice little cluster, and they are getting moved all the way up into the new Modern Suburbs? I don't even know what to call this point of the city anymore. This is like the mountainous area. The modern mountainous area. Well, we combine all of these together, and I also stuck a car park in the corner here next to the gym. Added some roads to join everything together as best I could. I then realised that this area of the city doesn't have a supermarket, so for now we have the modern Aldi up here, but I think I'm going to replace it with something a little bit cooler in the future. But we are creating a road from the leisure centre around Aldi and then around the funeral home, doctor's office, church combo. So everything is looping together really nicely. I was pretty happy with myself and feeling rather confident, so I decided to do something horrible. I wanted to connect the train station in the central part of the city all the way up into the new mountain train station. This requires some custom terrain and to extend the tracks in a fashion that makes sense, which was not easy for me, and it took a very long time. I also haven't quite figured out how to do curves yet when it comes to train tracks. I have a lot to learn. After I, quite frankly, got sick of making train tracks, I decided to fill this gap in at the top of the mountainous modern suburbs with my petrol station/gas station. I think in the future I'm going to place a nicer, more elaborate one up here, but for now I kind of just wanted to fill this space. After that, I decided that the grassland was looking a little bit bare, so I added a bunch of trees and bone meal to it. And I then added something a little bit fun. I decided to add Grinch Mountain next to the modern mansion on this hill. It just seems like a really fun place to have it. I couldn't help myself, it had to be here. I then decided to do a few things. Add a 7-Eleven convenience store to the end of this road here, just behind our modern apartments, because there was no convenience store or supermarket or anything in this area, and there probably should be one. I also came to the realization that this area behind all of the modern suburbs was kind of ugly, so we decided to do a little bit of landscaping. We built up the mountainous area behind the modern mansion. We refined this, I'm going to call it a river, that runs underneath our bridge. And we just added a bit more shape to it. We added some more water to it. I flooded my city a couple of times. You know, just regular sort of things. Basically just trying to make this area look a little bit more natural and nicer. And also doing any repairs that I might have. I broke the bridge. I had to make a whole new one. It was a real ordeal. And it was at this point, ladies and gentlemen, that I came to the realization that I had to stop. I got hit with the reality that I could literally just keep going and going and going and going, and I just had to put a stop to it somewhere. I really want to show you guys around, give you a little tour on foot, but the suburbs is in such an insane mess that I've got to clean up first. 3 hours later. Literally everywhere I go, it follows me. Our journey begins here at the border. As we cross over these tracks, you can see that this walkway is a lot nicer, a lot better shaped, yet I'm still choosing to walk on the road because I'm a rebel. The first builds that we are greeted with are the nightclub and the modern bar, which look great together. Over here on the right, we have the modern art museum, which I guess there's been a massive art heist. All of the art is gone. You'll notice as well that I have decorated a lot of the streets and car parks with vehicles. This is my city bus. And we have my bank here. This just feels really weird. It feels very grand being around all of these tall buildings. We even have a bus stop here as well. So eventually, this area will be a go-between the regular suburbs and the modern suburbs, so it makes sense to have a bus here, and we'll have a road and all of the other things that one might expect to get in between the two areas. We have Moe's Tavern, and as you can see, we have a little seating area and an old-fashioned phone box as well, despite the fact that this is the modern suburbs. I have tried to add a variety of vehicles about the place as well, so some different varieties of truck and car as we walk around here, so you can see that we have a little mini van as well. And I created an entrance into the subway, by the way. I really like this. I think that it explains about as well as you can what this area is. This is the entrance in and out of the subway, and eventually I think I will actually connect the tunnels together as well, but that's a problem for another day. And we also have a nice little seating area for the food truck as well. This is all it all feels so weird because this is the first time that I've actually walked around the streets that I've just spent so long renovating. It's surreal. When I was designing the new modern suburbs, I wasn't actually sure whether to keep the Despicable Me street, but it kind of feels more modern-y anyway, or at least vintage modern at the very least. I don't know, I like this area though. We had a bit of dead space behind the houses, so I decided to add this crane build here to signify that something else is going to be built here, although I don't know what. Oh, I also added some crossings in a few different places. Admittedly, these have to be in far more places throughout the city, including more traffic lights, more telephone poles, more of that sort of stuff. And I will 100% add all of those things to the city at some point, but definitely after things have stopped moving about so much. This area feels very cool to me. It feels as though that there's a lot of options here. So we could go through this way, which is just kind of like this grassy path. It feels very mysterious. We can see that something is up here. This is a very dense forest, and I think that you guys know exactly what is up here. We have Grinch Mountain, which is just such a fun build to have in the city. I don't think I ever showed this, but this is like the entrance up into the modern mansion. Like, we made this whole windy road and tunnel that takes us all the way up to the top, and there's like cutouts. You'd be in a lot of trouble if more than one car wanted to get up here, but it just feels very, very cool. Like, this is just such a cool spot in the city. I mean, we can pretty much see this entire part of the modern suburbs. I don't think that I've ever said this, but I really love this roundabout with the traffic light controlled crosswalks. I really like these. Like, unfortunately, we have lost some of the traffic lights throughout our renovations of the city, but it's going to be very cool when we have things like this all over the place. It just feels a little bit more immersive. And nothing feels more immersive than walking past Optimus Prime whilst staring at the Inside Out headquarters. And, I added a tow truck towing a car as well, which I thought was pretty cool. In the previous version of the modern suburbs, we had the Inside Out headquarters kind of like balanced on a hill, just like that one, and I think that it looks really cool. And what also looks really cool, I think, is this hill up into the Modern Mountains. I genuinely don't even know which way to go. Maybe we'll start over here. We have a bunch of our apartments. I'm starting to wonder if I should have condensed these a little bit more, but I like that each one of these apartments has a car park. We have my petrol station and taxis, and we have the train. Oh, I should show you as well. I did eventually finish the tracks. I'm not happy with this bend, but that's just something I've got to work on in the future. But I did actually complete the set of tracks leading all the way down to the regular suburbs slash the city centre, downtown. That area is kind of called actually, but that all looks rather clean except for that corner. I will do something about it though in the future. And just kind of picking up where we left off over here, we have the garage, the 24x7, definitely not a rip-off of 7-Eleven, the leisure centre, and as you can see, we just have a bunch of vehicles wherever possible. We even have a truck here, a bunch of different vehicles. They're not everywhere, of course. I have missed some places, but you can see that I have tried to make it a little bit more vehicle dense, and I will add more in the future whenever I think about it. And we can have a little look around here. I mean, not too much has changed from when we were actually just working on it. This area in general is very much in progress, so I think they did reach a nice conclusion with all of these builds, and these are all nice and cohesive. But this is something as well, actually. I added some roadworks up here. We have an excavator and some roadworks, and here we have a concrete truck pouring some concrete in this kind of unfinished part of the city, and we have another little mini building site here as well. But what I did end up doing was just kind of filling this little random patch in just with trees, just so it looked a bit cleaner, and just adding a giant wall and a bit of a hill around this area. So this is what's really cool. In the future, we will be able to connect this area down to the motorway in any way we want, really. So from that road, or maybe we can create a road there. We can connect back to the main part of the city here. We can extend our hill slash mountain further down, and we can make some mountain suburbs, so modern mountain suburbs, all the way down here. There's a lot of possibility, and I'm very glad that we elevated this part of the city. I know that it was a long time coming, guys, but I think that that's it. You may be interested in becoming a channel member. You can click the join button that will be somewhere on the screen right now. This does cost money and is a monthly subscription, but you do get some perks. The first of which is a download link for my city design world. This has every single build that I have placed in my city, arranged in order, and labelled. This perk also comes with schematics for the mods Lightmatica and World Edit, so you can easily reference and copy and paste these builds into your worlds in any way that you'd like. However, if you're not interested in any of that building business, the highest tier allows you to download the most current version of Mini-City. There are also some minor perks, including loyalty badges displayed next to your name whenever you comment something down below on my videos. Depending on how long you have been a channel member, you gain a more prestigious helmet, with the highly coveted gold builder's hat being the most valuable. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.